welcome back to my channel, fellow crafters. If you're new here, my name is Dawn. I do a little bit of sewing, a little bit of odds and ends crafting type stuff, and I do some baking. So it's almost Christmas time, less than a month away. I know, shocking, right? Every year for Christmas, in my home, sew and make all of our stockings. Every year we have a theme, and it's just so much fun to just go out and buy the fabric and make them instead of buying them. This year I found a really cute stocking on Pinterest, and I couldn't find a pattern for it, so I decided to make my own pattern. Now, I'm not an expert at pattern making. This is my very first pattern, and I'm very happy that it came out right. It came out looking really cute. This is the one for my son. Looks like a little elf pants. So this here is all stuffed right up to this sew line, and then here is open, the other leg is open, and then through here is open. And then there's the back, little straps in the back. It's not completely done yet. I'm gonna do a little bit of buttons or something up here on the top because I think it looks a little plain. So I posted this picture with the inspiration picture I found on Pinterest, on Facebook, and I got a big audience wanting the pattern. So I decided, okay, well, yeah, sure, I'll give you guys the pattern, no big deal. You know, it's Christmas time of giving, right? So I decided, since I could not find well, I actually did find one video on how to make these, but it was cut out with a Cricut machine, and I don't have a Cricut. So I thought I would draw everything out, get all of the dimensions out, planned out for you, put everything cut out for you, give you a picture of what my pattern looks like, and make a video. Why not, right? So I'm gonna go and switch you guys to my cutting mat, and we will get started. Thanks for joining me. So here is the elf shoe cut out, and it has it's 8 inches by 6. And then the shoe topper, the part that goes on top of the shoe like that. That one measures 6 inches wide by 3 inches long. And then the elf pants, let's see, you can kind of see that. It's 6.5 from here to this line, because you're gonna cut it on the fold. So this right here is only 6.5 inches to right here, and it's 7.5 inches wide. The full length is 13 inches by 7.5 inches. So you're gonna cut this one on the fold, this part right here, or yeah, don't cut that part, but cut this part over here. That's gonna be on the fold. And then this one is the long either shirt or skirt, and that's the one that goes over the pants like that. And that one measures 15 wide by 9 long. And then for each triangle, it's 2 inches. 2 inches long for each triangle. And then I do a 1/2 inch seam for everything except for the shoe. The shoe is going to be a 4th seam allowance, and you're going to leave this part open up here. So you're just going to sew all the way around and leave that part open. Okay, so those are the measurements. I'll put pictures in the description box for you that you could probably see a lot better. And if you have any questions or anything, feel free to send me a message or comment, and I will try to get to you as soon as I can. All right, so so I have everything cut out. This is going to be for my two daughters. So for the shoe topper, I just did the scallop. So you want to cut 4 of those. And then the shoes, you're going to put wrong sides together like that. I have one pinned already for you. Just like that. And you're going to want to cut 4 of those pieces to make 2 shoes. And then this is what the pants looks like. And you're going to cut 2 of these. And then for the long shirt, or I'm going to make the my girls' skirts, for the skirt, it'll just be a rectangle of 9 by 15. And then tulle for the top of it to make it kind of flare out. So, now that we have everything cut out and everything pinned and ready to go, let's get to sewing. All right, so the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take your piece, which I like to start with the pants, and you're gonna put the right sides together. Right sides together and pin around. You start on the outside edge and then switch to the other outside edge and then do the middle part right here. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. And it's a 1/2 inch seam allowance. All right, so after you are done sewing it, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go and cut this seam allowance down in half, and also in the middle, right here. You wanna make sure you slice these corners right here, but don't go through your stitch lines. Just like that, on each side. So we have it snipped in the corners and then the seam allowance cut by half. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn it inside out. And you can go press it if you like. You don't have to. Finger press it if you don't have an iron. And there's the pants. Pants are done. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the shoes, the little elf shoes. So this one, you're gonna put wrong sides together, right? And all we're gonna do is we're gonna leave this top portion, the top of the shoe, open, and we're gonna go and do a 1/4 of a seam allowance around the whole shoe and stopping at the very top up here at the corner. All right, and this is what it's going to look like when you're done. All right, so now we're going to move on to the second foot. All right, so you got both of them done. All right, I think mine looks good. So the next step is you're gonna go and stuff these, only up to about here. You probably can't see that, huh? Only up to about here. So probably 1/2 inch from the top, because what we're gonna do next is after you stuff it all, you're gonna go and sew that part shut. Pin the top. You don't have to if you don't want to. And then we're gonna go and sew all the way across to sew this shut. 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'm just using a straight stitch, but it can be a zigzag stitch if you want, or just a straight stitch. And there you go. There's your first shoe. Pretty cute. All right, I'm gonna do the second one, and then we will go on to the next section. All right, got my second one done. Now we got two. So the next step is taking the little the shoe toppers, what I call them, I don't know what they're actually called, but the little shoe toppers. Now I'm doing the scalloped edge for my daughters, and then my son got the triangle pointy end ones. So it's the same dimensions as the pointy ones, but instead of cutting out the triangles, you just do the scallop edge. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go and sew a 1/2 inch on each end, okay? All right, so you're gonna do this on both sides, on both of the pieces. All right, so you have both of them sewn on both sides. Then before we go and we cut the seam allowance in half like we did with the pants, what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn them inside out, just like that. And then we're going to slip them over just to see if it fits. Slip them over the pants. And it looks like they fit. Oh, that looks cute. Then the next part we're going to check is the bottom of the pants, if it fits the pants, because that's the part that we're gonna sew them on first. So you turn it right side out again, and or not right side out, turn it wrong side out, and just put it over the pants just to see if it fits, and it looks like it's a little small, which is fine. It'll be okay. If you wanted to, this would be the time to go and rip out your stitching and do it a little bit smaller of a stitch line. I'm gonna pin mine real quick and see what it looks like when I turn it the right side out. And it's just a tiny bit too small. But like I said, if you really wanted to, you could go and rip out those seams you just did and just do a smaller one. But I don't think it's gonna make a big deal. See what I'm doing right here? I'm just bunching it up a little bit to pin it down like that. And we will see what that looks like. Oh, you can't even tell. Well, maybe a little bit in the back, but that's going to be the back. But that looks pretty cute. And right here, that's all right though. You can barely see it. All right, so now, if you didn't cut your seam allowance down, do that right now. Just helps with the bulkiness. Now this is what it looks like right now. Just like that. Inside out, pinned to the cuff, just like that. Just like you're making a shirt cuff. Then you could do this one or two ways. You can go all the way around it first with it open like this, go all the way around it. And then after that, you could, what we're gonna do is we're gonna insert the foot. Like that. And then you could sew it completely shut right there. Or you could go and insert the foot right now and then sew it that way. That way you only have one seam line, which I think I'm gonna do it that way. So I did the other way with the first one that I made and it was kind of a pain, so. And make sure your feet are going the right way. I had to rip out my other one, my seams on the other stocking twice because I kept on having them this way or this way. So you want them both to go out like that. So make sure you got that right. And then I just like to kind of center them in between the full scallops that are on there. And just pin it down. Whoops. Sure everything's nice and even. All right, so I was saying before, 1/2 inch seam allowance. Don't forget to back stitch and at the front and at the end. After you're done, just flip that down. And there you are. One foot on already. See how fast I was? All right. Then we're gonna do the second one. All right. Doing good so far. There we go. We got the feet on. So the feet and the cuffs are done. We are almost done. Now we just need to do the top and the strap. So now we're gonna make the straps. You're gonna take a piece of fabric that is 3 inches by 20, and you're basically going to make like bias tape, kind of like straps for purses. You're going to fold it in half like that, and then iron it, and then you're going to open it up, and then you're going to fold each strap end in to the middle like that, and then you're going to fold it so it looks like that. And then you're going to go and sew down each side of the strap so it's nice and closed, and that's going to be between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch of seam allowance. So I've already done this one. That's what it looks like. Now I'm going to finish the other one. All right, now we're going to connect them to the pants. Good morning, bud. So when we connect them to the pants, you can either go from the outside or you can go and do it from the inside, that like I'm gonna do. The outside would be pretty cute. Put it about 1 inch in. You could put it down like that, and then sew it across, and then put a button right there if you're gonna do the outside. I'm gonna do the inside. About 1 inch in, and about 1 inch down. So that's going to be for the front, just like that. And then for the back, we're going to make them crisscross. Kind of like suspenders, so they look like suspenders. What I like to do is I like to go from 1 inch in from the front, and then from the back I like to try to line it up with this line right here, with this line. So from that line up, and that's where you put the other strap. All right, let's sew those on. I just do a box around it. That way it's nice and sturdy with an X in the middle of it. All right, so this is what it's gonna look like on the front, and then that's what it's gonna look like inside. So that's the back, and this is the front. You wanna make sure that your strap isn't twisted, so that it'll be nice and even when you hang it. So then go ahead and do the same thing to the second strap. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. That's the front. And here's the back. I just pinned it right here in the middle. All right, so next, in the last step, is gonna be the either skirt or just the shirt. So if you're gonna do just the shirt, you're gonna take this pattern and trace it out and cut out the triangles. This is one I did for my son, the triangle one. And if you're gonna do the skirt, I'll show you how to do that. It's kind of the same thing with this one, except for we're not gonna go and cut out the triangles. We're just gonna keep it the rectangle 9x15 shape, and then we're gonna add ruffles, 3 rows of ruffles. Okay, so if you're gonna do the shirt, all you do is cut it out like this, cut out the triangles, and then inside out you're gonna do 1/2 inch seam, and then turn it, or yeah, that 1/2 inch seam. And then when we get to that part after I do the skirt, I'll show you how to connect it to your stocking. All right, so for the skirt, you're gonna do the rectangle pattern. Just don't cut out the triangles, like I had mentioned. And then you're gonna have another piece that measures 4 inches wide by 15 inches long, and that'll be the belt, so to speak. And then the ruffles, you're gonna have 3 different cuts of ruffles out of the tulle or the lace that you want to use, whatever you want to use. The smallest one is 56 inches long by 3 inches wide. And then you're going to do another 56 inches long by 6 inches wide, and then another 56 inches long by 9 inches wide. So you're going to have 3 different sets of ruffles. Okay, I did this one today just to show you what the ruffles I did look like. Don't know if you can see that. It's white. There we go. That's the kind of ruffles I'm going to be doing. Like I said, you can do whatever kind of ruffles, how many ruffles, how little ruffles that you want. So I'm just going to change my machine foot to the ruffle one. You can make them the ruffles longer to go all the way around the stocking, but I'm just going to do it for the front side. So I'm going to make the ruffles and I'll be right back. All right, so after you've sewn all of your ruffles, you're going to sew the big ruffle first, and you're going to sew it on the top of the 3 or the 4 by 15 rectangle. Okay, so after you're done sewing it on the belt, so to speak, part, it's going to look like that, and then the back is going to have your stitches. And then you're going to do the same thing to the 6 inch, or yeah, 6 inch one. You're just going to sew it right on top of the one you just sewn. So we're just layering them. And then the last one, the smaller one, we're going to add that to the top as well. Just like that. All right, so you're going to have a skirt like that, nice and fluffy. So then you're going to take the top, or this is the bottom, and you're going to fold. So this is the bottom of the belt part, and you're going to take it up, fold it up, and then you're going to fold it until it folded probably about an inch, inch and a half. So it's kind of sandwiched like that. Then you're going to fold it one more time over your stitch line so that you don't see the stitch line. Just like that. And then you're going to go and you're going to sew that top part right here, about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch right here. All right, and now this is what you have. All right, so now what you're going to do is, after you get your skirt like this done, this is what it looks like when it's done, you're going to draw a line on one of the big red rectangles, the 9x15. You're going to draw a line across it 1.5 inches down, because that's where you're going to put your skirt after we're done sewing it to the back. So after you drew your line, you're going to take the two pieces, the two rectangles, and you're going to sew down both sides, both short ends, 1/2 inch. Don't forget to back stitch at both ends, at the beginning and at the end. So now you're gonna cut your seam allowance in half. So it looks like that, just in half. I'm going to turn it right side out. And you can press it if you like, or just finger press it. So now you're looking at your 1.5 inch line that's down from the top, right there. And you're gonna put the top of your skirt to that line. And it's gonna go over a little bit, which is fine. And then it's gonna look like a little skirt. You could sew this piece on before you sew the sides. Just cut off the extra so that it's not caught in your seam allowance. You could also add some ribbon to the center. Like this, to make it look a little more festive if you would like. You're gonna make sure you open it up. You don't want to sew these together. You want to open it up. All right, so what I did was I took the tutu and I slipped it over the whole stocking. So I took the feet and I put the feet inside the tutu with the right side facing out. And then that 1.5 inches that we had that was extra right here at the top, I folded that under and just pinned it inside so that the lining, you put it up a little bit further than the lining so you wouldn't see the lining of the stocking. Now, the fabric that I use is a stretch fabric and it's stretched a little bit, so just be careful if you're going to use a stretch fabric. I had to go and kind of make a little pleat there and then another place in the back, I believe it was. And then you just do about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, or not a seam allowance, but a top stitch, and then you'll be done. And this is what it looks like. So let me go and do the top stitching and then I'll be right back. So there you go. I just pinned that right there, that way you can kind of see where the crisscross goes in the back. Mine isn't exactly straight, but that's okay. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm not an expert, I'm still learning. But how cute is that? I'm gonna put some bells on the shoes. A little tutu. You got all this room on both legs and on the inside right here. I think it came out pretty cute. So what I did after I sewed the first line, I went and I looked inside. You want to make sure that you get your lining in with the stitching, and I missed some of my lining, so I just went through again with the second row of stitches, and that made sure that I got all of the lining. So that's how you make the tutu for the girl. Let me grab the one for the boy. And this one is the boys. And all you do for this part right here, this green part, is you just cut it out with triangles, and then you sew it up just like we did with the tutu, and then you do the same thing. You just go and fold it over and stitch on the end, stitch with the lining and the shirt pieces matching, fold them under, stitch, and then you're done with that part. This right here, I made the same way that I made the straps, and I sewed them on before I sewed this on, or before I sewed the two rectangle parts together. I sewed those on first, and then I sewed them on each side, and then sewed it onto the stocking. You can add names. Like I said, I want to add some bells to the feet, and maybe some bells here on the rectangles. You can add buttons. Well, there you go. Your elf stockings. If you have any questions, let me know. And thank you for watching. Have a great day.